I'm a boy of four children family. My father was a small businessman, and I was living in my early ages in Istanbul, Turkey. And up to 17 years age, I get schooling in Turkey. At 17 years age, I moved to Sweden and arriving to Malmö for learning Swedish, and then moving up to Linköping for starting studying technical physics and applied electronics. And after that, I started to move into the business life or the work life. Coming back to my family, we were a big family, like any Turkish family. We were up to 7, 8 people, and 2 girls, 2 boys, grandmothers, father and mother, and it was a lively, and the neighborhood was very lively. Everybody was half mother to us. So when my mother was not at home, so I could feed myself in any house in the neighborhood. So it was totally different times compared with today's world. So it was really nice to be a child in that environment. You know, especially men has different phases in their life. So we have different sections of our life in different ages. So when I was starting my, say, early adult life, I was around, say, 20s, and I was educated, had a master's degree in technical physics and electronics, and I wanted to build up a kind of well living around financials and career-wise, etc. So that age was more or less building a kind of personal imperium to arrive into a kind of, say, well-positioned, successful business person. So my work life started after a big trial in Turkey. I tried so many different business opportunities in Turkey, where it ended up with that there was not enough deepness in those businesses. So when I moved to Sweden, it was 1980s when I started in Ericsson as a young engineer, and I was employed as an operating system coder, and it was very nice to build up a business career as a technology background person. And then I ended up after 2 years or so in the marketing department and project management, open to myself from Sweden to the global life. And 1980s, after Saudi trip, after being in Saudi about a couple of years as a project manager, I moved to Turkey in 1987, started a deputy general manager role in Ericsson, and it was again in telecom area, but slightly moved into the mobile telephony due to the development in the technology and cable TV and other type of, say, areas like internet, and also a bit of media. So at the end, I arrived to be a businessman addressing technology, telecoms, media, internet, and say cable TV, digital TV, etc., etc. It was just in time. I was about the 1980s. I entered into the world with a very, very hype technology-based jump in the society. So everything was happening together. Yeah, my Turkish journey, as said, started 1987. It was really interesting because by that time everything was growing in Turkey, and I ended up with a machine where we added up every day a new thing. So all these things happened at once, and the big jump came 1993 with the mobile telephony in Turkey. I was behind the biggest mobile telephone company in Turkey called Turkcell, and I've been heavily involved in the formation of that company as a member of Ericsson management team. And also, as followingly, I ended up to kick off a lot of mobile businesses in Central Asia, Ukraine, and Moldova, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, etc., etc. So it was a very interesting time. Also, a Turkish part of the Cyprus was part of my involvement in this telecom move. After that, 2002, I just felt that I did everything. I personally have a kind of background there. When things get too routine, too same, things happens, say year in, year out in the same way, I get bored. So I felt that 2002, after 22 years career in Ericsson and related businesses like Turkcell, Moltcell, Azercell, Kazakhcell, Kcell, etc., etc., I just said, let me stop here and then try to find out a new way of existing in this world. So then the break came 2002. A friend of mine just told me, Ersin, you had all kind of vacation. You were in Machu Picchu, you were there and there. You did this and this. You have seen almost 50 countries. Why don't you do a different holiday and go to a place called Koh Samui in Thailand and a place called Spa Samui? I didn't know what it was about. I went there. And they just put a kind of a strip into my mouth and said, you can do. I didn't know what should I be doing. And it ended up with something called Master Detox. It was interesting. First time in my life, I didn't eat 10 days. I just drink different type of drinks. But strangely, my sleep get better, my energy level get better. I felt better, etc. By that time, I thought I was fit, but from 1986 kilos, I went down to almost 67 within 2 months following those 10 days. And within those 10 days, I lost about 8 kilos. And that was an interesting opening. And at the same time, there was interesting comments about myself and my life quality. The guy who was in charge for that wellness center, he just told me, Ersin, I'm sorry you are handicapped. I said, what do you mean? I'm a powerful business person. I know that and that. I really member of a gym. I go to the gym. I run. But he said that like you can't touch your toes, so your body is not fully functional. So that was an eye-opener for me. So being fit doesn't mean you wake up and you can walk. It means you can use all of your body parts to its full. So that was an interesting opening. So, normally in life you have sick and healthy. Then I realized that's not black and white. It's 0 to 100. So you are 54% healthy, 46% sick, or 80% healthy, 20% sick. Sickness here means that the functionality, 100% functionality is not there, which is quite normal. So you need to have good enough functionality in your body, but that should not be the black and white version, like, okay, I wake up, I can walk, I'm healthy, and or it should not be 100% search of health, that, okay, I have, a kind of very minor or subtle pain here and there, and then running to the hospital. So we need to find our best existence in this life. So that was an interesting opening. And there was a Japanese professor over there. She came to me. She said, Ersin, you are a good guy. I like you, but I think you should learn how to live. That was an opening. I said, okay, how can I learn? She said, I made the list for you. You can just go and visit these places and learn different things. I just checked the table. Yeah, there was really different things. Like first, I should go to some place 3-4 days to learn how to chew. So it was interesting. You go there, they give you a bucket of pumpkin seeds. So you just chew 60 times, 40 times with closed eyes, and then you just stop chewing and tell what you experience, the texture, taste, smell, how juicy was it, etc., etc. It's a very different experience to learn how to chew. And then I went for 10 days inner listening, which is vipassana, they call it. You sit 10 days silent sitting, and the 10th day you have right to exchange your experiences with your fellow friends in the class. So it was interesting too. First 4 or 5 days, it was very, very difficult. Really, I was fed up. I just thought leaving the place, because they take everything from you. They leave you with nothing. And then you just sit and observe. First 3 days, you observe this square centimeter here. And then after 3 days, you expand it to the whole your body and feel all the sensations in the body. It was very, very interesting experience to see there is life in every corner, every cell of our body. That was an eye-opener for me, because then I realized we all are invaded under the occupation of outer world. So we never feel how we really feel. We feel very little how we are here and there. So that was an eye-opener, that too. And then I was in different places for master detox, green juicing, sprouting, or breathing courses. 21 days I learned how to breathe. It's very interesting, just see the connection, your emotions and your breathing. It's really makes a big difference. Interesting feeling to see how things are connected with your breath. So that was another thing. And then I got interested in wellness. I said, okay, I started to learn how to live, but I said, nobody lives, nobody knows how to live. And then I said, let me start a company which teaches people how to feel well. And TheLifeCo started 20 years ago, 2005. The main idea was for family and friends to create an environment, and we learn together how to be well. So it was a beautiful move from myself, from my side, for myself at first, because I felt as, best form of myself. I really felt good. The things has changed. Everything is getting better. I felt at the age of around 49, 50, I felt like I was 70. Now I am about 70, 69 nowadays. I feel I'm reasonably okay. I don't feel that I'm much worse than 30 years age in my, what I remember from that part of my life. So it paid back. Going into this business really paid back for my well-being, life quality, etc.